Hello guys, welcome to episode 2 of Travelling Purple Belt Gym Reviews. We're sticking in Cornwall, in West Cornwall in fact. We're going to a place in Redruth called Kernow BJJ. It's run by a chap called Mark Bauer. I believe he's a second Dan black belt under Hodger Gracie, which is obviously pretty legit. First session tonight is gi, unfortunately, and then tomorrow is no gi, so I'm going to get a good comprehensive view of the gym and give you guys a good idea if you were going to come down here and train, what it's like. I will give my recommendations afterwards. Let's roll. We are here in Kernow BJJ with the biggest fucking car park I've ever seen in my entire life of any gym ever in my many years of doing jiu-jitsu. Not that long, 4 years, but yeah, great start, and it's sunny, which is a plus. So yeah, let's go have a look inside the gym. So we are here in possibly the nicest gym I've ever been in my entire life. It's enormous. It's even got a vending machine. Great stuff. Just gonna have a quick walk around here. Easy to get lost. We've got a wellness suite, which I've never seen anywhere. You'd expect it in kind of LA. Big conference room. I'm not going to just interrupt their privacy while it's empty. Loads of training equipment, kitchen, everything like this. Absolutely phenomenal. Big conference room. Obviously, this is where all the Muay Thai and the kickboxing goes on, which is fantastic. And now we've got kind of an old school, excellent. We've got trap bars, stepper machines, plates, pull-ups. Oh God, those are disgusting. Absolutely fantastic. Aircon, amazing. Got a pull-up rig is here as well. All the kind of kit you could ever want. Another aircon unit, which is fantastic. And we've got a massive mat space as well. Gorgeous mats, as you can see. Good branding as well, which is brilliant. We'll be on here in a second doing some rolls. But yeah, just showing you around the gym. Absolutely fantastic. Facilities-wise, men and ladies toilets here. All good stuff. Hello. Changing rooms, toilets, all fantastic. Shower. Yeah, no complaints here at all. Wonderful. I'm with Simon. We are at Kernow BJJ, and you are in charge of the wellness suite here in this gym. You're one of the only gyms I've ever been to with a wellness suite, so please tell everyone what you do and what's there. And
basically it was initially set up because I'm an older guy wanting to train jiu-jitsu as much as possible, and I could train 3 times a week and I couldn't get out of bed in the morning, was struggling to recover. So I started investigating modalities for recovery, and found that sauna and ice bath is kind of is really good, and then flotation therapy, influenced by Joe Rogan, obviously. So when we set this place up, we had some space available, so I took the plunge. Quite literally. Excuse the pun. And so we set up. We've been running for coming up 3 years now. And we now got the NHS as a client, bringing in some mental health patients, which is a real coup for us. Got quite a few members that come in regularly, and there's no two ways about it. It's one of the best things you can do for your recovery.
What do you have? Like, what facilities do you have in the gym itself?
So we've got a traditional sauna, traditional steam sauna. That runs 90 to 100 degrees, which is fantastic, and then an ice bath that pairs with that really well. That sits about kind of between 2 and 5 degrees. So we kind of recommend 3 rounds of sauna and ice bath over an hour. If you do that once a week, you're golden. And
you get a lot of members from obviously you get a lot of outdoor members, like you said. You get a lot of members from the gym itself coming in, and that's good for their recovery as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we've got the float pod, which is fantastic. An hour in there is equivalent to roughly 4 hours deep sleep.
Really? Wow.
So it's great for you physically because it allows your body to relax. You potentially absorb some magnesium through your skin. Most of us are a little bit magnesium deficient. And then from a mental health perspective and kind of sports performance perspective, it puts you into a state very, very close to meditation, between asleep and awake. And that's great for all sorts of mental health conditions, PTSD. And a lot of sports people use it for visualization of performance. So there's a lot of sports teams, like the England football team took a couple of float pods out to the last Euros, and they do match visualization when they're in there. And we all know that there's quite a lot of evidence that visualization for sports performance is great, but it puts you in a place where you've got no outside distraction and allows you to kind of float away and enjoy yourself.
Do you know? Obviously, you train jiu-jitsu. I know you're a blue belt, as we were just saying, 3 stripe, by the way.
Every stripe counts.
Every stripe counts. Yeah. Do you know of any other gym with anything. I don't from traveling around, but do you know any gyms with anything like that before?
I think there's a lot popping up. I mean, we were pretty early on the scene.
Yeah.
I think there's more and more places are starting to incorporate it. I mean, obviously, particularly ice baths have been very big on social media. A lot of people, kind of Russell Brand, Joe Rogan, various people. That I mean, when we started, it was very difficult to buy an ice bath. There were some that were kind of in the region of 20 grand.
That's like 3-4 years ago.
Yes, yeah.
Jesus.
But now, I mean, you can buy your own blow up ice bath and chiller for under £1,000.
Yeah.
But you know, and a lot of people, you know, they'll have a wheelie bin in the back garden or a barrel or something similar, which is great.
That's a good idea.
You know, if that's what you want to do. I mean, I've got quite a few customers who kind of supplement with their own kind of setup at home. We'd like to think that it allows you just to come in, you can relax. You know, you can hire a towel if you don't even have to bring a towel if you don't want to, and you get in for an hour and you're great.
Perfect. Well, mate, thanks very much. I appreciate that. Simon.
Pleasure.
Cheers,
No worries.
Thank you. So I'm here with Mark Bauer. You're the head coach of Kernow BJJ.
Yep.
Thank you for talking today. I really appreciate it. The first thing I want to really ask you about is kind of your lineage. And do you think that matters, like that dilution from the Gracies, stuff like that?
Well, I mean, I went white to black under a chap called Rafael de Santos, who's no longer around here.
Okay.
And probably for the best.
We won't go into the controversy. Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah, I mean, people talk about like dilution and stuff like that, how far away you are from the source. And don't get me wrong, like, I go up and train with Hodger as much as I can.
Yeah.
And, like, the levels up there, it's just incredible.
So you're affiliated with Hodger Gracie now, aren't you? Back in the
Yeah. So
got it.
I'm under Hodger. I've got my second degree off him recently.
Excellent. Yeah.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
But he, like up in that gym, it's just learning from him. And I mean, you see how much like jiu-jitsu is evolving. And then you go up there and you'll have like...
You think you're good. And then,
I mean, we were on the mats there with like 3 guys who were qualified for ADCC
Really?
this year. So, and then you'll watch people like Hodger and stuff just do the most basic stuff, but just do it to the highest level. So, like, can it get diluted? I think anything can get diluted, but you'll always learn stuff from the source. But it's just... there's levels to the game, and there's, you know, it's how committed the people are who are teaching it as well.
Absolutely.
So I mean, dilution, they definitely can be, but I don't see much of it down here. But guys are solid down here.
Yeah.
It's really good. And
Well, that's kind of my next question. Really, is like why do you run? It's just a 2-part question. Why do you run the gym you do, and what makes this gym so special?
So I was basically running the gym for someone else previously when it was a Gracie Baja. Not that I followed that curriculum, so I struggled with
Didn't
that.
charge 200 quid for keys.
It wasn't for me. And down here, it's just we're so far off the beaten track, and like it's the poorest part of the country, and it's just you couldn't keep up with it. So I was working like really long shifts on site, and then trying to compete because off the back of stopping playing rugby, I needed something competitive, and when I found jiu-jitsu, I just fell in love with it and really, really pushed myself. And I, managed to win some stuff domestically, which was...
How long ago was that we're kind of talking when you first started?
So it'd be about 14 years ago.
Wow,
now.
okay, fair one, yeah.
13, 14 years, something like that.
That's a good amount. To get your second degree, that's a good amount of time, isn't it, to be getting that? Yeah, definitely. Very good stuff. And you've kind of used that kind of 14 years of experience to then obviously run the gym the way you do.
Well, yeah. And I just wanted to be able to give people... some of the advantages I didn't have, and it wasn't until I was still competing and people were coming on and they were doing really well in competition themselves, which I was delighted with. But like getting injured and having surgery really put it into perspective. And it was one of those things that I had injury, then we had COVID, and it could have gone either way. Like I was so depressed.
I agree.
I couldn't do rehab properly. I couldn't do anything. So then coming back, like threw myself into the gym when we got this space. Like I spent all of COVID here working, and then like just watching the gym grow and the guys achieving what they're achieving.
Absolutely.
It's just it's really it inspired me to just train more, train harder, which was great. And
I asked this question when I was in a no-gi gym recently, and I was going to ask, is the gi dead?
I hope not.
Well, yeah, we're wearing it.
It's one of those things. I think it's
at the highest level, it seems to be going more towards the no-gi side.
Yeah,
I'd say.
but I think, like as with everything, there's fashions and trends.
Yeah.
And I think in a minute you're going to have someone inject a load of cash into a competition, and everyone will think the gi sexy
Arab
again.
prince will.
Well, that's it. Just
I
like,
agree.
There we are, and then all of a sudden it'll be like, do you know what?
Yeah.
I might put that back on.
You know what? You see it with like buggy jokes, don't you, and all that kind of stuff. They're cool for a little bit, and they go in, they come again. Yeah, so I understand. What kind of? Well, you've kind of already answered this one, but what kind of keeps you motivated to keep rolling? Obviously, in your 40s, you keep training. What?
Not yet.
Are you not? Oh,
wishing
sorry, mate. I do apologise.
I'm about to. I'm about to be 40, but yeah. No, for me, like I said, I played rugby for years, and then I had like 2 years off after a real bad rugby injury, and then just got complacent at home. And when I found this, it just re-motivated me to get like fit again and do something competitive. But like just keeping up with the guys in the classes, and then I'm always learning as well. So for me, the fact that I can still teach, still learn, and see these guys achieve like really cool things, it just keeps me going.
What kind of resources do you use to learn? And
so I mean, I will travel and train with people as much as I can. We were really lucky last year, and we went to America, took a squad out to the Worlds to compete.
Amazing.
One of our ladies actually picked up a world title, which was cool.
Awesome. Yeah.
And then we went down to Texas and got some training down there and met some really, really cool guys. And it was really nice just seeing like the different gyms, all three of them at the highest level, but taught in such different ways.
Yeah.
And you just take something from everyone that you train with, which is awesome. And apart from that, I'll use things like flow grappling. I'll watch stuff on there. I'm always hunting for
always
stuff.
Learning. Yeah. If you go back to your kind of like start of jiu-jitsu, what would you tell yourself? Your younger self, you're just going into a gym. What kind of advice would you give yourself?
Probably the same thing I would have told myself when I was younger playing rugby, like take warm-ups and cool-downs more seriously.
That's good advice.
Nutrition's a big thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it would be like don't sweat the small stuff. Don't be too hard on yourself in the beginning, because it is such a sharp learning curve when you start, and people can get hyper-focused on the wrong things. So it'd just be a case of just let it evolve, let it happen.
Trust in the process.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Cool. Mark, thank you very much, man.
No.
Gi or no gi?
You know the answer to that.
You're a gi man. You're gi till you die, aren't you?
Definitely a gi man. Mate.
What attracts you more to the gi rather than no gi?
Because I'm old as shit. So yeah, really, it's like I started with Muay Thai when I was a lot younger, and a lot of energy. For me, Jiu-Jitsu was like a way of slowing down a little bit, which isn't really true. It doesn't actually work like that.
But in the gi, there's more dynamic.
In the gi, yeah, there's a lot going on with gi. So for me, like it's all about the multiple positions that you have, and the fact that I get to be able to, even if it's briefly, slow someone like you down for a minute or two. Like, you know what I mean? So for me, it's 100%. It's the grips. And
cool. Why do you train here? What do you think makes this gym so special?
I think probably quite similar to Tony. It's a community for me. Like I'm similar position as him. I started here, and fell in love with the sport here, and it's like family, to be honest with you. And I think you probably have a lot. It's really like a jiu-jitsu cliche, that isn't it? Whenever they're training, it's always like family.
Well, there's a reason for people to say it, I guess, because there's a point to it. Same in CrossFit and other sports, rugby. They love that kind of team dynamic. It's not really an individual sport, because everyone makes you the competitor you are, don't they, I suppose?
Yeah, it's a really strange sport in that way.
Yeah.
Like you train as a team, but when you compete,
you might end up even against each other as well, which is quite a weird thought, isn't it?
From time to time, doesn't it?
Do you prefer gi or no gi?
Both.
Yes, love both equally.
Got to do both,
Yeah,
didn't you?
I
Like,
agree.
yeah, together it's the whole sport, isn't it? It's not just one or the other, and I think both complement each other, certainly.
Absolutely. If you could go back to 11 years ago when you first started jits, what would you tell yourself now?
Don't really know, mate. Yeah, probably, as I spoke to you earlier on, get some better health insurance. Yeah. Sign up 11 years ago.
I can't argue that, mate. What would you tell yourself starting now, if you could give yourself any advice?
Starting now, I mean, I haven't been training that long, maybe 6-7 years. Starting now would be tap so
Really?
often. Yeah, especially early on. I spent so many times with pointless injuries just from trying to like fight out Kimuras or sitting in a footlocker.
Not tapping to arm bars, Tony.
Not tapping to arm bars.
Got tapped out by a fucking blue belt with a collar choke. Doesn't count because it's in the gi, right? So we're here, day 2, Kernow BJJ for the no-gi class. Hopefully going to get my revenge because I was fucking hanging last night. I'm just so inefficient. It's so like cumbersome. I don't know how to deal with the grips because I've not trained in it in so long. There's no excuse. Apart from the fact that I like gyms that specialise. I prefer a gym that either does gi or no-gi, but that's not a very good business model from the gym's perspective. But there we are. So we're going to go in now, do the session, get some recording of that for you guys, and then we're going to be doing some rolls. So yeah, let's go.
Just going to clear the hands, okay, we're not connected. Just going to level change, drop the knee, 1, 2, lift, put them back down, 10 lifts each. Nice.
So, the conclusion of Kernow BJJ. The first thing we're going to talk about is the gym and the facilities itself. I mean, you saw this. What more could I say? It's way ahead of its time, especially down here in the southwest. It has a sauna, 2 saunas, has a cold plunge, has an immersion tank. When you go in, you can have an hour of just relaxing. I believe Simon said that's equivalent to a few hours of deep sleep. I'm not sure of the medical evidence on that, but it sounds really good to me, and it's definitely a very good selling point. Mat space itself is gorgeous, it's immaculate, big amount of room. You've got a gym in there to do weightlifting, and to be fair, you can get a really good workout in there with the kind of different bits of kit they've got. Gender changing rooms, controversial. Have showers. You've got a separate toilet to that as well. You've got conference rooms if you ever need that kind of stuff. You've got a cafe where you can have smoothies, that kind of stuff. You've got a separate gym as well where they do Muay Thai. And I believe they have like online seminars in there as well. We have like Dean Lister doing a seminar in America, for example. They live stream that and they do the techniques with them. It's fantastic. And they've obviously got a good relationship with a lot of high level people as well, which is a testament to the gym itself. So yeah, parking as well, fantastic. So yeah, you know, I've got a big hard on for that. No complaints. So the coaching. I went to Mark Bauer's sessions. I believe they have maybe a morning session taught by Tony, one of the brown belts. And I can't attest to them, unfortunately, but Mark teaches most of the lessons, especially ones in the evening. And he's obviously a 2nd degree black belt under Hodger Gracie, not a 2nd Dan black belt, like I said yesterday. It's not karate, we're not 15. So Mark's sessions, they were good. He's obviously got a hard on for judo, and wrestling, which is brilliant. A lot of gyms don't do enough stand-up, so that's fantastic to see. Very cardio-based as well, which is something I'll talk about in a little while. If you see his sessions, obviously there's quite a regular kind of traditional warm-up. I prefer individual warm-ups, but that's completely biased. There's no reason a group warm-up isn't okay as well. You're running around, you're doing your shrimping, getting your arms warm, all that kind of stuff, which is fine. And then after that, he does something quite unique I've not seen in other gyms. He'll do specific moves, and he'll do we're coming into a clinch, or we're doing a guard pass, and it's almost like being in the gym where he'll be like, I do 20 reps of that each, which is quite unusual, but I can appreciate that. And it has improved their cardio quite a lot, which is something I'll talk about in the kind of rolling section. So you'll have set amount of reps to do on each thing, and then it'll be a Toreando pass, do 10 of those on each side, and then you change over and do that, which I really like, actually. I think it's really good. It's a warm gym anyway, so you're very sweaty. So yeah, great stuff. I like that a lot. Technique-wise, the stuff he's teaching for jiu-jitsu rather than the stand-up side of stuff is great as well. Very kind of basic functional stuff, which I really like, not showing like these crazy flashy things. He separates the gym in two as well, which I really appreciate for a bigger class. So you've got the white belts down here with an upper grade, a brown belt, for example. They're doing the more simplistic things. And then Mark's showing the advanced, inverted commas, blue belt and above, kind of the breakdown of the technique he wants to do. He will come round individually, and if you're really getting it, he's like, oh, right, there's an advancement to this as well. And he'll show some sort of Gucci leg lock, which, again, great, very tailor-made coaching, which I can't complain about himself. Mark himself rolls as well, which is really good, because there's nothing worse than going to a gym where the black belt's teaching all this Gucci shit, but he doesn't actually do it, he doesn't display it, and Mark does, so fair play to him, that's really good. So no complaints with the coaching. Day one, rolling in the gi. I'm a lot worse in gi, and I'll admit that myself. They're good. They're a very gi orientated gym. I believe they have a Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday in the gi, and then Tuesday, and they alternate their Fridays. So it's a gi competition class and it's a no gi competition class, which I think is quite a good idea. So the emphasis is obviously more on gi, which is fine. Very traditional in that kind of way, which is expected in most gyms. It's a very good business model, so it attracts everyone. And if you are going to compete, you've got a good variety and abilities there in gi and no gi. So rolling day one in the gi, great. I haven't done it for a little while, and you can see I was a little bit lost in the soup there with grips, people getting hold of me, and I wasn't able to kind of break the grip and things. It slows the game down quite a lot, being in the gi, and you're able to kind of grab them, fucking hold them there, which is fine if that's the game you want to play. I struggled a lot more with that, and I was just absolutely gassed by the end of it. And this is what I was saying with the cardio element. Their gas tanks are amazing. It's something really noticeable in that gym. They are able to keep going. It's something I'm really impressed by, and it's just, yeah, it's a hot gym, and they're going really hard. Their warm-up goes on about 30 minutes, really, where they're kind of doing their standard warm-up and then doing their drills, doing the reps, like I was saying. Then they're going into warm-up wrestling practice with judo. So yeah, testament to them, brilliant. Day two in no-gi, I felt a lot more comfortable, obviously. And I was able to, get the better of people and things like that. But then I was running with Callum. I believe he's been a purple belt for about 8 or 9 years, the big chap with the goatee. And he's cracking, he's got very good top pressure. Whenever I was able to get the better of him, getting onto his back, for example, he was very quickly to get out of that. Again, it shows the gym. He doesn't train anywhere else, so they're obviously getting taught good stuff there, so I can't complain. If I had to be nitpicky, we are in Cornwall, so you're not in a big city, you don't have a huge amount of members, and a lot of the members tend to be the lower grade belts, as they are in most gyms. So I imagine if you were an adult competitor, brown belt, advance into black belt, you'll probably struggle to have hard rolls in this gym, where you're going to get that competition you would in London, for example. But that's not the gym's fault. That's the amount of people that are down in Cornwall. You're only going to get so many people doing jiu-jitsu. So rolling, no complaints. Very good, very safe. There was people standing up as well, which is good to see, not just rolling from their knees like I'm guilty of doing sometimes. But I was hanging out. It's been a hard 2 days filming and doing everything, so that's my excuse anyway. So yeah, rolling, top notch, great. So would I recommend Kernow BJJ? And the answer is unequivocally yes. They're a gorgeous gym, they're very friendly, the facilities are way ahead of anything down here in the Southwest. It's something you'd expect in LA or London with everything they've got, so yeah, brilliant. There's a gym there for everybody. No matter what level you are, you're gonna come and enjoy yourself. Whether you get the competitive roles at your adult kind of brown or black belt, I can't say for sure, but if you're visiting the area and you want to drop in, they're obviously more gi orientated, but there's no gi there as well, so I think anyone could come and enjoy it. They're about 20 minutes from Newquay, which is obviously the big destination people come to in Cornwall, and it is well worth the journey. Reasonably priced, great timetable. So yeah, no complaints. Please go and visit them if you can and check them out on social media. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Have a lovely day.